Okay, welcome back. We're here on your last week on training for your motivational and daily routines. Now, we talked about a lot of important subjects throughout the weeks. Very, very powerful, very, very important stuff. Again, let me remind you this stuff is what's changed my life around completely. All of these things put together. It is not the education I have in Forex. It is not the mentors I've had in Forex. It is not the way I've chased after all those mentors around the years. It is the way I changed my mind that has changed my life around 360 or 180 if you want to say it. It's changed the way I do anything in life. I just have this new fond celebration of life. I feel like I deserve whatever life has to give. It's just so much better. So I want you to start training in the same way because all it is data in your mind. That's all it is. It's how you handle that data in your mind that makes the difference. If you hold on to a data and you amplify it, okay, that can work, but it can also destroy you. It depends on what the data is. Okay? If the data causes negative chemical reactions in your body, it's going to destroy you. No matter how angry you get, no matter what anyone did, the person who's getting harmed is going to be you and only you. But when you amplify a good feeling, not only does it benefit you, but it also benefits the people around you. So think of it like if you take care of yourself, you actually do society a goodwill. It's like forget donating money to charity. You help yourself get better, and that's automatically donating to society. You're automatically going to make the world a better place. Okay? If that's your main cause in your life, that I want to be a good person. I want to help those who are in need. Well, there's a famous saying, if you want to help others, you need to learn how to help yourself first. If you're a negative person and you want to help someone else, it's not going to happen. In fact, you might turn them negative too, in hopes of help. Okay, so let's get into this. Let's dive into this. What is this topic? Celebrate your wins. This whole time it's like, what? Celebrate your wins? Man, Naveen, why such a small topic? What's up? What's up with this winning stuff? Aren't you gonna help me remove all the garbage in my life? Why are you talking about celebrating winners and stuff? I don't have any winners yet. Here's the thing. Everybody has winners. The only difference is we focus on stuff that are not winners. Here's the thing. If I was to tell you, remove the idea of good and bad, or winners and losers. Okay? We label these things. It comes with a vocabulary. Good means positive. Positive means good stuff. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And then obviously bad is negative. We hate it, we don't like it, and it's not right. Okay? Let's do some scenarios here. A guy walks in to an office, and inside that office, everyone is working, and one of your colleagues' dog is just chilling, walking around, and minding his own business, just relaxing. Then a grumpy guy comes into the office. You don't know who he is, and he looks at the dog, he gets irritated, and he kicks the dog. Now, he kicks the dog. You're looking at this situation, you're like, what the beep, beep, beep? What in the world is happening? Who is this guy, and how dare he kick the dog? Blah, 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 enraged and furious. Why? Couple things. Animal safety has just come into light in the last 50 years. Okay? It wasn't in light, or would you say it wasn't in fashion, it wasn't the in thing to do 50 years ago. It's a good thing. It's a good thing that it's happening. However, this feeling of if someone has animal cruelty start to amplify how negative you are towards it. It's society based. It's trained. Okay? It's trained. But it's also somewhat biological because as the animal cries or screams for help, that feeling that you get from a little cry or anything like that, that's biological. That's biological because we see that and we relate to it as survival. Our body's biological thing only talks about survival. And when he sees someone else in pain, he thinks survival is at stake, which means it makes you start feeling bad. So that's biological. But knowing to be upset at not the dog and feeling sorry for the dog, but to be forget the dog. Let's focus on the guy who did this thing, and let's see what we can do to get him in trouble. That's trained. That is trained. Okay? When you flip the situation around, the same guy, grumpy guy, dogs walking around, the grumpy guy comes to you and says, you look at him, you have this vision of this guy is grumpy. Looks like he's gonna be a mean customer or a mean person to handle. He looks at you and he's like, "Yo, you're looking very nice today," and he just walks past, and you're like, "Oh, okay, thanks, I guess." Your mind is not trained to accept what's coming. You're already looking forward to accept something negative, but something positive happened, and you're like, "Oh, okay, well, thanks, I guess." But what happens is when something negative happens, you amplify it. But when something positive happens, there is no amplification. Let's put this into perspective of trading. Okay? I'm going to give you something that happens to every one of the traders I've met across the world, actually. Here's what happens. A loss happens in their trade. When a loss happens, they're furious. Okay? Couple types of people. When a loss happens, something breaks. It's simple as that. I've seen that too. As weird as it is for me being a mentor and I'm seeing them, having a loss and they're like furious and starting to break stuff. It's scary at times, but it's like I've seen that. Okay, so that one type of person. Another type of person is when they have a loss, they're like, okay, they look perfectly normal, but inside they're furious, which means next trade, I'm gonna get this back. Okay? Double up lot size, triple up lot size. What are we gonna do? Emotions amplified. Okay. As they gear up for anger and everything, and they take the next trade, and the next trade actually wins. Here's the most important part. They're already geared up to say, I want my money back, and once they do get their money back, what happens? Are they happy? No, they're still not happy. That's the best part. This is the most interesting part that I always like to observe these students do. They're not happy because when they make a win, there's 3 or 4 different sentences they say. Sentence number 1. Oh, perfect. I got the money back, but I don't know if I can do it again. Oh, I got the money, but I got lucky. Oh, I got the money, but I don't know if I can. Let's see if I can repeat it again. Okay, that's more of a positive outlook. But let's see if I can repeat again. But do you notice at no time do they dwell into the winner? But when they make a loss, they're dwelling into the loss. They go into the mode of, what does this mean to me? How much of a loss is that? That loss is equivalent to blah, 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 what I would do in my normal life, or rent, or food, or something. They start making it equivalent to something. But when there's a winner, it comes with a sentence that has the word but in it. I got this winner, but let's see if I can do it again. I got this winner, but I don't know if I'm going to win the next one, so it doesn't really count yet. I got this winner, but it just pays for the last losses. So we're constantly working on delaying our happiness, but when sadness comes, we take the moment and rejoice in the sadness. Why is that? Why is that? Strange, isn't it? As human beings, it feels like we're hardwired like this, but we're not. These are all trained behaviors. If you know about this trained behavior, and you know this behavior comes from within, can you not change it? If you have an understanding of what you're thinking, if I was to tell you right now, imagine you're in a beautiful world, okay? If I was to tell you, okay, everybody close your eyes, okay, even you listening right now, close your eyes. Okay, I hope you're not driving or anything. Like, don't close your eyes in that case. But if you are, take a moment to listen to this when you're alone. And if you close your eyes and I say, picture a perfect scenario. You're on the beach. The wind is blowing. You're inside a nice villa. Everything is white. You can see the curtains flying outwards. White curtains, just silky smooth. And you're in your bathrobe. You step outside into the balcony or your terrace, and you're looking over and you see a nice crystal blue ocean. Now, I gave you an idea of what to think about, but what you're actually visualizing is your own thought. When I tell you to create these things, you're creating them out of thin air on demand, but you're making them as nice as you want it. While I'm saying this, are you thinking about the devil? Or are you thinking about how horrible yesterday's weather was? Are you thinking about why is my car not working? No. So, because you can control what's in your mind. If you can control what's in your mind, why not control it to do the good things? Isn't it right? Isn't it? It's as simple as that. But it's so difficult to accept that information that all your thoughts come from you. Negative or positive. If there's negative, we need some cleaning to do. But clean it. We can't stay victim for it because you're the one who made it. Just clean it out. It's okay. It takes time. Just clean it out. Okay? So, when we talk about celebrating your wins, we're going to start amplifying whenever we win. Okay? So, here's a couple things that I personally like to do. I set goals, but I set goals that are reachable. You know, goals that are reachable. Now, when I first started in my career, I had a small account, like $1,000 account, and my goal was, man, if I can just make this into $300 for me was really, it was like, that's all I needed, because $200 would pay for the rent of, I was renting a basement at that time, and I was like, the extra $100, it's gonna be for my food, you know, because I eat junk all the time, so my food was really cheap, you know, McDonald's and Burger King and all that nonsense. So I was eating all this garbage and thinking, and for me that was the world. It meant the world to me, like just $300, but it was also meaning 30%. Okay, but I just focused on it. $300. That's not too much. Come on, it's not too much to ask for. That's how I looked at it. I didn't look at it like it's 30%. That's not possible. Banks don't even do that. I didn't think of it that way. I thought of it as it's only $300. The market does $4 trillion or $7 trillion a day. I can make 300. Okay? I started with an attitude like that, where I'm like, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Okay? And whenever I used to have these winners, I used to stop trading for a week, and I used to go and enjoy that money. I used to actually go and spend it. Of course, the next month I would end up losing some money from my account, and probably more after that. But I didn't forget how that winner felt. You know what happened? Because I've been doing that stuff when I first started for the first 3 or 4 months. You know what happened after that? I was in this industry for 7 years. Okay? I've been in this industry a total of 13 years now, running. But I was in the industry for 7 years, failing. But I didn't quit. Because I was very sharp to celebrate the wins. And I didn't let the negatives affect me. After 7 years of rigorous stuff like that, a couple things started changing in my life. I don't know if you call this God's grace, magic, good luck, alien, supreme powers, whatever you want to call it. Things started just unfolding the way I wanted. It's almost like if you're willing to work super, super hard and you just have a positive outlook on everything you're doing, even the universe gets out of your way. And they're like, let him through. Let him through. He's very resilient, or she's very resilient. She does what it takes. She wants what she wants. He wants what he wants. Give it to him. It's okay. It's not a bad person. It's a nice person. Give it to him. Okay? So when you think of it like that, then I started meeting my mentors just randomly, just falling into place randomly. I was traveling through China, and I one of my roommates at that time, he was a very big architect for a big Chinese company, but he was from Belgium. Very nice guy. And through him, I used to always go out partying on the weekends. I was a hardcore partier back in the day, and drinking a lot and having a good time. And he used to play for a football team locally in China, and they called them Shenzhen Tigers, and through this whole thing, I met my mentor there. But here's the funny part: I used to party with this team for a good 2 to 4 months before the first conversation actually came up from this guy, and he was like, "Man, Naveen, it's always fun drinking with you. I'm so glad you come to these events and stuff like that. What do you actually do?" And in my mind, the typical answer, I don't know if you know Forex, but I'm actually like a trader, and it's something similar to stocks, the stock market and stuff like that. And he's looking at me with one eyebrow raised. He's like, "I'm a Forex trader. I know what a Forex is." He's looking at me like I'm stupid or something. but it's just most people I talk to, I can't explain Forex because they think of a little currency booth and I'm standing behind the teller saying, "Okay, how much money you want to exchange?" That's the idea they have for me as a Forex trader. So I try to explain it like, "Oh, similar to the stock market." So he's like, "I'm a Forex trader." Okay, at this state, I still don't make anything of it because every time I do have this conversation and someone says I'm a Forex trader, most people start the conversation like, "Oh yeah, I dabbled with trading here and there, blah, 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 failed. Oh yeah, I did this thing, blah, 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 failed." So my brain is almost like, listen to him, but I know the outlook is negative because the person quit, he gave up, or he just left. But listen, do your part, Naveen, do your job, listen to him. So this is like a constant battle in my mind whenever I hear people talking, because I've talked to so many people and it's the same conversation over and over again. So when he starts telling me he's a trader, I'm thinking to myself, already prejudging, I'm thinking to myself, "Okay, well, he's another one of those guys." But I did my job. I listened. And while I was listening, he was saying, "How do you do in trading? Are you doing okay?" I was like, "Well, I've been into it for a very long time. I'm slightly above break even, making some money, pays my bills. I'm doing okay." Okay? And for me, what okay was, it used to pay my bills, but it never gave me luxury. Okay? This is around my 8th year. It never gave me luxury. Okay, it used to pay my bills. I can barely pay a flight to somewhere. I can barely pay for a nice apartment. I can pay for rent. I can pay for a flight every 3 or 4 months, but I can't do stuff on demand. I wasn't making money like I wanted to make money. Okay, so I explained to my mentor that okay, that's the stage I'm at, and he's like, "Interesting, do you trade alone or in a community?" And I told him, "Yeah, I got a website, urbanforex.com, blah, blah, blah." He's like, "Okay." He checks it out, and the next day he sends me an email. He's like, "Oh, it looks like you got your hands quite full. You're helping a lot of these new traders and stuff like that. When do you actually have time to trade?" And I sat there like, I just drink with this guy, and now he has the audacity to ask me personal questions. I started feeling uncomfortable. Like, who's this guy? But I was like, it's my friend's colleague. It's okay. Let's talk to him. Yeah, I was like, well, I do trade after I help these folks at Urban Forex, and I do trade. Here's my trading style, and this is what I do. And he's like, "I see. I can show you some stuff." Being a friend of mine's. At this point, he was starting to consider me as a friend because I was very open and clear with him. And he's like, "I used to work for a bank before, and I'm going to show you some tips and tricks. You take a look at it. There's no pressure, and you tell me what you make of it." Okay, this attitude that I'm telling you about is actually where I got my attitude of, let me show you first, and then you tell me. I'm not one of those guys like buy my course and then, figure it out later. No, no. You guys obviously know at this stage that I'm more of like, I'm gonna give you the ahas first, and then you come in, and then we'll make it better. So he did the same thing to me. He's like, I'm gonna give you some stuff, and you tell me what you make of it. He gave me trade number 1. I tried it. The trade worked almost to perfection, and I was like, that's interesting. Okay, maybe a lucky shot. 3 days later, he calls out another trade. I get the trade. Works out fantastically. A few days later, another trade. At this point, I'm desperate. I was like, who is this guy? And where is he getting his golden globe? Like, where is his crystal ball? What is this? I started being like, dude, you need to teach me what you know. I will give you money. I will give you whatever you need. Just teach me what you know. It's the moment where I was, how when you're so desperate to learn something so badly, and you're like, just come on, man, just teach me, and I can do anything. I'll work for you for a year or 2 years, whatever it is, but just teach me. So I was at that stage with him, and I was like working it out, and you'll be surprised, it took another 6 to 8 months before he finally opened up to me. Now, here's the situation. I was profitable already. And in this time of being profitable already, he shows me a better way to be profitable, and now suddenly my eye is on that. And I stopped caring about how good I was doing. I just looked at that as like, that's garbage. Whatever I'm doing is garbage. This thing is the way to go. Okay? My eye was on the bigger picture now. And I started letting go of my idea of celebrating my wins, being good at what I'm good at. So I started my journey with him, and after 8 months, he's like, okay, you know what? I'll see if I can train you a bit. So he starts training me. He fine-tunes a little bit of my techniques where I'm going wrong here and there, and I start to see my performance start to increase. And as my performance starts to increase, my eye keeps going higher and higher and higher. Okay, I become a performance junkie, which is like, I want to do better, I want to do better, I want to do better. Here's a problem that happened in this whole situation. I kept doing better. I kept making my account balance bigger, and it felt great. But few things started to come in with it. Ego started rising in me. Okay, this is all I'm telling you now as a flashback. Ego started rising in me. I was never satisfied because I knew I could do better. So there was this point of no satisfaction at any point. But when I used to do bad, I used to get so upset. When I say bad, as in like, I'm doing well, and then boom, I wipe out 30% of my profits. I'm furious. It's like, I can't believe I did that. But when I'm making 70, 80, 90% profits, it's okay. It's like a normal day. I'm not so happy about it. I'm just like, keep going. So I was never satisfied, and furious, amplifying it when I was negative. That's where I started having problems. After that, I started going to this phase of, I can't really break out of the situation of, can I be better? I couldn't break out of that. I was stuck in that situation for another 2 years. Constantly raising my account up, like skyrocketing, and then boom, plummeting it back down. Then raising it slower, and then further plummet. Then raising it slower and further plummet. Okay, all still within profit boundaries. Okay, nothing is still negative, but I am not happy at all, because my benchmark is not the break-even line. My benchmark is, what's the highest number I've made before, right? Isn't that the normal thing? What happens when you're making a trade and your take profit is at, let's say, $10,000 for your take profit, but the trade goes up to $8,000 of take profit and then starts to reverse down, comes down to $5,000. What's the number in your mind? Okay, come on, man, go back up to 8,000, I'll close it. Oh, come on, man, go back up to at least 7,000, I'll close it. You start negotiating, right? That's what happened to me. My benchmark started to be my highest number. But I never was happy with whatever I made. Never was happy with that. So it took me 2 years before I finally had a mentor that actually went into my brain and cleaned up all the garbage. Okay? This is where my breakthrough happened. It is this course that I'm actually telling you everything on is the change that I needed in my life to change the way I look at everything, not just trading, but everything. Everything. It's almost like, oh my God, it's so simple. I can't believe I've been doing it the opposite way all my life. But it was also enlightening that it's that simple. It was an astonishing feeling that all I have to do is change the way I think. That's it. And that was the answer. The whole time. And when I changed the way I think, I started celebrating my wins a lot more. I started enjoying every little bit that I was making. My performance started to grow automatically. My losses shrank. The amount of losers I'd have shrank. My win percentage went up. My life around with my family and friends started to become a lot more happier. My ego started to fade. I became more helpful at Urban Forex and Forex Watchers. I became more friendlier. Everything just changed completely. Everything changed. If you'll notice this wave, even if you watch my YouTube videos on online, basically on YouTube, you'll notice a wave. I started off with, very helpful attitude. And then as, early 2010, 11, you'll notice a sense of ego in my tone started kicking in. And then it started to drop as we get closer to current times. That was the phase at the time when I was going through all that stuff. Okay, and it was a very humbling journey. I don't regret any of it. I'm glad all of that stuff happened, because if it wasn't for all that stuff, I wouldn't have looked for a mentor. I wouldn't have looked for a change. So in a way, I look at good and bad as equilibrium. I need the bads so I can look for the goods, because sometimes the average person does not focus on the goods at all. Now that I have the goods, I've learned to appreciate the goods every step of the way, whether there's bad or no bad. It's just like, okay, keep focusing on this chemical reaction in your body that you're having, Naveen, when you're actually winning. This is awesome. Keep it running. Keep the oil burning. Keep it lit. And I want to do that same thing for you. I want you to stop focusing and amplifying the bad parts in life, but start to amplifying the very, very little good things in life. I'm not saying become a person who just gives gratitude all day long and say, stand outside with a bell saying, give thanks to everything. No. I'm talking serious here. I'm talking serious as in, as much as it is nice to be religious and everything, just actually change the way you think. Forget about this is how religion and all the other stuff works. Forget about all that stuff. Okay, maybe you like that stuff, maybe you don't like that stuff. I'm talking to you as you're a performance artist right now. And if you want to increase the way you live your life and take it to the next level, all you have to do is change the way the brain works. But to change that, you need to know all the information we've covered so far and start applying it immediately. And I promise you, your life will change as soon as 24 hours. If you haven't put into effect all those things I've told you, you have to put it into effect. Because it is the fastest way. It is the fastest way. You can take all the education I have to give you. I can give you industry-leading secrets out there. But if your mind is not stable to handle it, then what's the point? It's the same thing. I can give a Ferrari to someone, but if the driver is not fit to drive, then what good is a Ferrari? Right? Agree or not? Okay? So remember these things. Be the best driver you can be. And then whatever vehicle comes your way, drive it. Drive it like you're a king. Because that's how life is. Be the best driver. Work on the driver part itself. You. Work on yourself. And then whatever vehicle comes your way, you will drive it the best you can. Alright? So, I wish you all the best. And I want to congratulate you for all the hard work you've done up until this point. If you have done everything that I've mentioned into this course, I'm going to be watching your performance very, very carefully. Don't forget, the people who are working for me already are ex-students. Okay? And there are a lot of benefits I give out for my students and people who work with me. And I look forward that if you are that change that you bring in and you excel above and beyond your norms, I would be interested in working with you. I would be interested in working with you. In fact, you will automatically hear from me if that happens. Okay? But I'm here to make the industry's next best leaders. And it's my job that if I'm teaching you guys how to make money, it is also my job to make sure you guys are good people. Okay? But I can't do that alone. I need your help with that. I need you to try to be better. Mentally, physically, and emotionally. Thanks a lot, guys. Good luck with everything. Let me know in the comments on how much you've been practicing MDR, motivation, and daily routines on a day-to-day basis. And I look forward to seeing you in the next course. And let's kick it. Let's make sure 2017 is going to be a year to remember. Thanks. Bye for now.